always starts before I think it's going to.
Got it.
Good afternoon. Well, it's not noon here. Good morning if you're on the West Coast. Good afternoon if you're on the East Coast. And welcome to, my name is Misty Petrella. I am a transformational business coach for heart-centered entrepreneurs. And you are at an impact and income interview with a colleague of mine named Michelle Rabell. It's Rabell,
It's
right?
actually, it's Rabell. It's Michelle Rabell. So it rhymes. I have lived my whole life with this name that rhymes.
Michelle Rabell, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So Michelle is an expert in personal branding and helping people attract their soul-aligned clients, which everyone knows I'm very excited about personally also. So Michelle, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. So tell us a little bit about your story, what got you into this personal branding and helping people grow their businesses. Tell us a little bit about how you got to be doing what you're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, I have a long background in marketing, basically worked up the ladder. So PR, like traditional old school PR, where you actually, send press releases to the Citizen Times and, kind of just started off in healthcare, which is an interesting industry to do marketing for. So basically did marketing for, like 15 years and realized that there was always something missing. I always wanted to do something more, that feeling of just not really ever belonging in corporate, the wanting to bring your ideas to the table and really not needing to follow the shoulds. My big thing is like, I just don't think anybody should follow the shoulds. I think we all have a zone of genius and we can use that, leverage that to do what we really want. And so, yeah, so I come from that world and I entered entrepreneurship. I kind of call it accidental entrepreneurship because you kind of don't know what's about to happen when you do that, when you sort of jump ship and leave the job. And especially when it comes to creating a personal brand, because you are the brand, which is very different from what I was kind of experiencing in marketing. So yeah, so that's how I entered this world. I was my last position as a marketing director, I was actually working for a business coach, an international business coach. So that was really neat because it sort of opened my eyes to what's the possibility.
That is very cool. I didn't, you and I actually I came from big agency advertising. So
we have a lot of similarities.
Yeah, we sure do. That's amazing. That's very cool. Okay. So what do you think is most important when someone, because this group of amazing love bugs that you're speaking into right now, they're either getting their businesses started or they're working their way to their first 100K. So when someone is in that area of their business, what is very important or what's important for them to understand about their personal brand or developing it?
Yeah, well, when you're in that place, it's hard to fathom that you are the brand and people feel like they're selling themselves, which can bring on this feeling of, it's pretty uncomfortable for a lot of people. And especially when you're in it for the good of all, when you are spiritual, you are purpose driven, you want to have an impact, you're doing this to help. It's really tricky to have the personal brand because you can be kind of modest. And when I'm talking about personal brand, I'm not talking about visual branding. I'm not talking about logos and colors and all of that. It's really how you position yourself, how you put yourself out there so that people can see you and understand and know what you do. And so you being able to have the messaging and show up with conviction to really share what you do and how you help people and help people understand what it is that they're missing to get to what they need. And so basically it's the personal branding, I think, can be tricky for people. I think it's also really important to have a strategy which is really hard right now, because what you're seeing a lot of is, you're online, you're scrolling, right? And what happens is complete distraction, and you start questioning everything, and you start comparing a lot. That's the kicker. And you have all these tactics, and oh, this is the latest and greatest, and this is the newest thing on TikTok, and then we've got to do Clubhouse and all these things that, sure, they're great, but on their own, it's like a big splattering of spaghetti all over the wall just to see what sticks, and that can be really distracting. And I find that people don't prioritize the right things because they just don't know. They don't know how to.
Yeah.
There's too much,
So true. So when you're talking, this was actually tricky for me, but this particular question I'm going to talk about, but how do you, there's like your zone of excellence and there's your zone of genius. So how do people know the difference between the two?
I love that. I love this question. I love talking about zone of genius because I do believe that we leverage that to really maximize our potential. Zone of excellence, and I'll start with an example. So zone of excellence, I can do marketing. I have like 15 years of marketing. Like, okay, I can actually do the back end of just about anything because I come from that world. So there's a zone of excellence. Excellence means you know how to do it. You've learned how to do it. You're pretty good at it. But it doesn't quite ignite this passion in you. And zone of genius is something that sometimes can seem too easy for you. When somebody's like, oh, you're so great at this, you should do this. You're like, what? That's not even a thing, right? Because it comes so naturally to you. It's a unique ability. And it doesn't mean that you don't have to work at it, right? It doesn't mean like, so my son is an amazing trumpet player. And going into orchestra and all of this in college. It's his unique ability. It's absolutely his zone of genius. He didn't come out of the womb playing the trumpet. He, believe me, my ears know he has practiced for years and years and years in that room. And that's what it is. So it takes reinforcement, it takes practice, it takes awareness and work, but it is something that it ignites that passion in you. It's like you would do it if you didn't even get paid for it, right? That's the thing.
That's amazing.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that's a perfect distinction. I'm good at creating Canvas stuff. It's not my zone. It doesn't light me up. It doesn't set me on fire. And then you go, right. Oh, I get to do this today. So like, I've had to pass that off to other people because for them, it is their zone of genius.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a big thing when we're even looking at like the distractions in business and what to prioritize. And even when you're just starting out and you think, oh, how am I supposed to pass these things on to somebody else when, there's limited funds, right? So, but it's really so worth it because let somebody else do their genius work. They're going to do it great. And it's going to pay off tenfold because then you actually get to work in your zone of genius.
Yeah. So true. And not easy for a lot of people to do is to let some of those things go. That's actually been a struggle of mine in my own business, is like letting some things go so I can stay in my zone of genius. It's kind of like a thing. I think I attract those people too. So that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Well, and Misty, the thing is, like, I'm in that world, like we're in the same place, and I struggle with this every day.
Yeah.
Every day from the start and even now.
Yeah.
I think it's because when you're a purpose-driven business owner, you're so personally attached to the business. It's like an extension to you. It's like an umbilical cord is attached to this. And you literally, even handing off graphics to somebody, well, that's like represents what you look like. And so, it can be, that's really hard. And so I think that for some of us, some people are great at it. I am not. And it's just, I'm a control freak. I turn into a control freak about it.
Yeah.
And the day that I started to, because it is still always a work in progress, to release some of that, it allows for that expansion. And it takes trust, and it takes really knowing how to communicate with a team, which is very hard.
Like even like managing people is like a whole nother.
Not my zone of genius right there.
Working on it. I'm working on it right now.
Exactly. And it might even be at some point, it's like, hey, bring somebody on who's going to manage the team, because like this does not flow easily from me.
So true. Okay. Yeah. So when someone is starting to think about their personal brand, like what's just an important thing to be considering? Like, you talked about messaging, we're going to talk about, in your thing that I read was like talking about your soul aligned clients, which again is totally my language. So that's why I'm so glad we're talking. So when you're like dig into your, like, what are some questions you should be asking yourself?
Really, the biggest question is, of course, you have to know your ideal client. That comes that's like the precursor to all of this. But the biggest thing I think is to ask yourself, how do I want to be perceived? How do I want to be seen by somebody? What's the impact that I want to have? And with a brand, it's such an ethereal concept, because it's how do you make somebody feel? So if somebody's scrolling along and they see your post or they see a video from you, it's like, how does that make them feel? And that really encompasses your brand. But it's also, what am I saying? What are the words that I'm using? To me, soul aligned, like you said, is such a big piece of all of this. And one of the possible distractions and something that can throw people off is feeling like you need to be a certain way, right? That's where I'm against following the shoulds. Like, don't follow the shoulds. And so we see things and we're like, oh, I'm supposed to be like her, or I'm supposed to look like that, I'm supposed to look a certain way. And that really actually just derails you. And your personal brand has to be about what is soul aligned for you as well. And what I find is people kind of like, I have to have these come to Jesus moments with my clients, because they'll even, I'm like, you're skirting around everything except like what the thing is. Like, what is your thing? Show that, allow that. And again, that's one of the hard parts of this, because it is so personal,
I even like in my own business, I'm a very spiritual person, and I've been on a spiritual journey for over 15 years now. Yep. And it has been hard for me to bring that actually into my branding, because I was just struggling with like how much, how little, la, 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 la. And so I'm leaning in now, and I will tell you guys so much, when you go all in on like what you believe, man, does it feel so much better.
It does. And it does when you do it. And it's an interesting process, because there's a lot of fear and I think we're so aligned, you and I, in what we do. And, when it comes to like the emotional mastery piece, right? I talk about the strategy, but I talk about the emotional mastery piece as well. Emotional mastery being really, like, to me, that is mindset on steroids. It's addressing those fears. And the thing is, when you got to show up and you got to be real and bring your truth out, because your uniqueness, that is going to be your brand. It's scary, because you're facing, first of all, who doesn't have a little past trauma in their lives? And that comes out to play. Everything's triggered. You're facing rejection. You're facing the fears of, what are all the fears, right, that come up? Some people have the fear of success. Like, well, what do I do if this does work? Like, does that mean I have to show up a certain way? But all of that comes out to play. And that initially stops people from doing it. That's what stops us from going to the heart of who we are and our message and what we really have to say, and not being afraid to show that. I mean, that's what we got teased for kids as we were kids about. Like, all this stuff comes up, right? And what I've also found is that we kind of play this little hide and seek game almost with ourselves, where it's like, we'll show up, you get yourself to do the thing. It's like the vulnerability hangover. You get yourself to do this thing, and then you're like, oh my God. And you go hide in a corner for like a month. And so when it comes to the personal branding, when it comes to creating the visibility and sharing yourself and your message with the world, that can also, all these little things throw us off. We kind of fall in, we hide out, and then we're like, come out, and then we hide out, and then we come. And that the problem with that
Right.
is it's a lack of consistency, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's so true. And I will tell you guys, the more I lean into what I really geek out about, those eccentricities that I have, those things that make me quote unquote weird in some circles, I'm telling you, my soul aligned clients show up. They show up. The more yourself you are, the more the right people show up.
Yeah.
It's a catch-22, because it can be a little bit scary, but it's so true. Thank you so much for sharing. It's really
absolutely. It is. It's all, in a way. I mean, there's so much strategy behind everything we do, and there's also that piece where it is a leap of faith, where it is. I've been on a spiritual journey for a long time as well, and it's like you just have to allow for that openness, and kind of just go there. Yeah.
Okay. So very true. And I will tell you guys, like I said, I know it sounds like a catch, like it's like, but what if they don't? I'm telling you, they do. The more that you show up 1000% as yourself, no matter what you define as weird or odd or eccentric or whatever. Because I got teased about being weird like my whole life.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, the more I show up as that person, magic happens.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like, full disclosure, for me, it's a work in progress. Constantly, all of it, just like it is like releasing things in my business for other people to do. This is also a work in progress, and there's a reason why I so much focus on being seen, because that's my biggest fear. It's always been my biggest fear. So that's what I really am great at helping people to do, because I do have to constantly remind myself. And every day it feels like, this journey of entrepreneurship is ever evolving, it's ever growing, and we evolve with it. That's the beauty of having this as our own business. And every day it's like a little bit more unfolding, a little bit more release, a little bit more like, it's okay. It's okay to share this truth about me. It's okay to be this way. Right. So it's constantly evolving.
And allowing that is important, guys. I worked with a coach a long time ago named Marisa Murgatroyd, and she calls it like allowing this to be being in iteration the entire time. There's no perfect offer. There's no, like, allowing it to keep developing and keep perfecting. That's actually what makes your stuff so amazing over time. So thank you for sharing that. That's so good. Yeah, it's so juicy and so important. Okay, well, let's talk about some magic that you've got coming up here. November 1st, right? Aren't you?
It's actually November 8th.
Oh, 8th.
November 8th through 12th.
Yeah.
It's the Personal Brand Formula Roadmap. It's a free 5-day workshop. So much fun. And we're going to do it on Zoom this time, which I love, because I really love interacting and connecting with people. And what's happening is really creating that strategy and a roadmap, so that you're not just flinging spaghetti to the wall, so that you're not just blindly doing all of this stuff that you don't even know is right for you. The cool thing is everyone's strategy is going to be different. It's aligning with, here are the things that are going to work for you. So everyone's journey through it is unique and different, and you come out with this roadmap to help you with exactly what you're going to do next. So we're talking about how to position yourself, how to consistently attract the soul aligned clients, how to, the messaging comes into it, and mastering soul aligned selling. because that's a big part of it. And that's where, our fears can come out to play as well. And how do you do it in a way to create a system so that you're not continuously reinventing the wheel? And I know that, having a system for how are you bringing in your prospects? How are you enrolling clients? When you have the system, you can almost step back a bit and breathe. It's always work. I'm not going to ever say it's not work, but at least like you've kind of created this machine. Do you pivot? Yes, absolutely, when you need to. But anyway, that's what we're doing over 5 days. It's loads of fun. Really great group of entrepreneurs, practitioners, experts, people who are, all in it for the good of all. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Guys, I'm going to drop the link to that here as soon as we wrap up, so you guys can go ahead and join in. It starts November 8th. That is very exciting. Anything else you want to leave people with? Any last bit of information that you think people should know about their personal brand?
Well, I think that's based on our conversation, that this is doable, and we all have hurdles to go through. We're all in it together, and in those moments where you feel like, oh my gosh, I am all alone here in this corner doing this, and nobody understands, and you're even afraid to ask for help. That's when, you and I and groups like this come in to help, because it's support. It's support and it's community that is so essential. Doing this alone behind your closed doors, it doesn't work. I know we've all tried it. It doesn't work. Right? Yeah. So we all need each other.
Yeah. Okay. That's beautiful. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here, Michelle. Guys,
thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Guys, check out the personal brand formula roadmap, the workshop that is coming up on November 8th. I think you will get a good deal out of it. It is important to be able to get your message and your story out into the world, and Michelle can help you do that in your zone of genius. Guys, thank you so much for joining in today. My name is Misty Petrella. You have an amazing day, and we will see you on the flip side. Bye.